and that's it. So you do your work, and you do it well, and you persevere, and you get up on days that you don't feel very good, and you still do the best work that you can possibly do. And you strive to be the best person that you can possibly be, and you share the best self, and you make your school or your college or your university or your law school or your firm or your organization the best place that it can be. And you do that over and over and over again in what David Foster Wallace said, remarkably unsexy ways, day in and day out. Because that's what people do. That's what your parents do to provide an educational opportunity like this. They work really hard every day. So our job is an easy one. We bring the best kids that we can find in the country and the world here, and we ask you to work hard, and we ask you to be generous and thoughtful and gracious, and we ask you to get ready. Not get ready in a superficial sense, in a strategic sense, but to be really ready. So that when the men and women around this table and across the country say yes to students from St. Andrews, they know that the students are going to bring it when they arrive. So to me, the process is about readiness. The process for you juniors is about working. Working with all your might, working with all your heart to make the world a better place. And we can do that. There's no magic about it. So we thank you for being here. We hope to share the message of the St. Andrews approach with as many different groups as we possibly can. And again, just encourage you to be active and engaged in the conversations that follow today. Thanks.
This is your opportunity to ask great questions of this incredible group gathered in front of us. I'm going to ask them to introduce themselves, and then we met with the juniors on, I think it was Thursday night, Tuesday night, I can't remember what night it was, and encourage you all to come with some great questions. I may have encouraged some of you to ask questions, and so I'm going to actually ask Willie Hain to start with the first question after our colleges introduce themselves.
Hear me? Good morning, my name is Peter Hagan, and I'm from Syracuse University in Syracuse, New York.
Good morning, I'm Chad Spencer. I'm representing Davidson College, which is located down in North Carolina.
Hello, my name is May Hinton. I am the Assistant Dean of Admission at Bates College in Lewiston, Maine.
Good morning, my name is Ben Westcott, and I have the pleasure of working at Rhodes College in Memphis, Tennessee.
Good morning, I'm Lou Hirsch. I'm a bit of a ringer here because I am a retired person, which also means an old person. I retired in 2012 as Director of Admissions at the University of Delaware, and I'm currently involved as Admission Practices Chair for one of the professional admissions organizations. I'm a member of the National Admissions Practice Chair for Admission Practices Committee for the National Association for College Admissions Counseling.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Shruti Naik. I'm from Gettysburg College in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania.
I'm going to rebel against the microphone. We don't like microphones. My name is Ryan Shire. I am representing Northeastern University in Boston, Massachusetts.
My name is also Ryan Ricciardi, and I'm representing Bowdoin College in Brunswick, Michigan.
Okay, Lily.
Hi, I'm Lily. What is the best way to approach a college visit?
Question is, what is the best way to approach a college visit?
I guess I can start really quickly. With an open mind, I know that sounds incredibly easy, but some students go to schools and they have an idea of where they'd like to go. They have this idea in their head that it needs to be small or it needs to be large, it needs to be in this city or that city. But you really never know until you get there and you meet with some individuals. Maybe there's something there that's going to pique your interest that you never thought of before. So
would advise against that. We have taken a lot of care in planning a visit for you and your family. So I would encourage you to go through that process. Don't say, hey, well, we're going to be arriving an hour late, we're going to leave an hour early. What can you provide in an hour and a half? That happens a lot. And it's the answer to that is not very much. So I would encourage you to come to an information session, do a student-led tour. We can certainly accommodate a coach meeting or a faculty meeting or visiting a class and things like that. But go through the program that we've created, because I think that we're intentional about that. We can accommodate it to your needs, but not necessarily accommodate it all of your needs in an hour and 20 minutes. Go through our program. It's a pretty good one.
And just to kind of go off that point, it's always very important when you're visiting a college to make sure you go to the admission office. So even if you're just there to visit a friend, you guys hear me? Oh, just is that better? Kind of? Oh, there we go. Maybe I'm just loud enough, but I just want to reemphasize the point that even if you're just there to visit a friend from maybe high school who's a year ahead of you and you're just stopping through at the college, you absolutely need to come by the admission office and make sure that your attendance on campus was actually recorded. We actually have something called demonstrated interest, which I'm hoping everybody knows a little bit about, but it just means that we like to know that you're interested in the college, that I have signed up for our mailing list, either hard copy mail or email, that you have stopped by the college, you've done an interview. We really track all of that data, and we do actually use it to see if you're actually interested in the school. Every year we get applications, and I'm sure my colleagues have seen this too, an application where there's been no contact with the school. They haven't even been on our mailing list, so we have no idea if they know anything about us or if they're just applying to 47 schools and 47. So it's really, really a good idea whenever you come for a campus visit to make sure you come by the admission office.
Can I add something to Ryan's point about keeping an open mind? Because it's a very good one. And I would urge you to make a deliberate effort to visit colleges of different types. In other words, if you think right now that you absolutely positively want to be at a large university, great, but make a point of visiting at least one small college. If you think you will only be happy at a college that's in a city, great, but look at something that's not in a city, something that's rural. If you're a woman, I would urge you to look at a women's college. Again, you may think that's not going to be for you, but give it a look. The reason I'm suggesting this to you is that there are really two possible outcomes if you follow this advice. One of them is surprise. You discover, my God, I really do like this. I never thought I would be happy at this kind of school. Oh my God, I visited and something resonated with me. The other possible outcome is your original sense of yourself may have been the correct one, but at least now you understand, having looked at different types of schools, why it's resonating with you, and you have a much clearer sense of why you're being drawn to that kind of college. And incidentally, you'll probably do a much better job at questions that you're asked on application supplements and say, well, why do you want to go to our college? You'll understand.
I think to piggyback on Ben's remarks about visits being somewhat customizable, know that to truly understand the culture of an institution, not only do you have to spend time there with great people like us, but you need to find time to spend with students as well. So if that means being in a classroom setting, eating lunch in the Commons. On our campus, it's called Commons. It's a fancy name for cafeteria. Spending the night on campus. Not all colleges will provide you this opportunity, but if it is an option and you have the time, take the time, spend that night on campus with a student in an actual dorm. That will help you understand the culture of the place a little bit better.
Another question. Hands up. Come on, students. Oh, one more student question. There we go.
About how long do you guys spend looking at each application?
20 minutes.
certainly. We are in the middle of our early decision reading process at Davidson right now. Last night I spent time reading applications, and on average I spend 35 to 45 minutes reviewing an application the first time around. From me, it will go to a second reader who will spend 20 to 30 minutes reviewing the application, and from there will be a committee of folks who gather to talk about each and every applicant. And at the end of the day, we may have spent combined 90 minutes or more talking about each individual applicant. We're smaller than Syracuse, right? We do not have tens of thousands of applications. So I bet you would receive a different answer from each person on the panel.
Sure. I guess I'll just throw it out there for Bates. It's a small private liberal arts school. We get about 5,200 applications, so I'd say between 20 and 45 minutes, just depending on who the student is. Some people send in a lot of additional material, and so we always do try to look through that. A little bit of advice, I'm all about little tips whenever I'm on a panel. You don't really need to send an entire science paper, 30 pages, anything like that, because we're going to have to flip through that really quickly. It's always better to send all of your additional information on maybe just one page to make sure that we're actually reading through it. But if somebody does send a lot of extra material, we do try to go through it as best we can. So I'd say between 20 and 45 minutes depending on the application.
Yeah, on a normal reading day, we're fortunate to be able to read from home. I'm responsible for reading 25 applications that day. So I'd say 20 minutes or so, 25 minutes or so would be appropriate. Then it would go on to other folks that would take probably half that amount of time, depending on the circumstances. But that's correct.
I think I want to add that we actually put a lot of time and thought into how we read applications, and I think for most of us, we spend a lot of time getting to know your schools and getting to know the environment in which you have been educated, in which you have grown up, and so that we get to know you as a person, because we are ultimately putting together a class of people, and that idea that there is, I think, a little bit of humanity in this process is really important for you to know. You are an individual to each of us, and so it's not 20 minutes or 45 minutes. It's you reading you as a person and reading about your experiences and getting to know who you are. That really is important. The amount of time is the amount of time, and then you take what you need to take. But knowing that you are a human being in this process, I think, is an important thing to know.
Yeah, just to reiterate, very similar to me, Gettysburg, a smaller school, so we do have enough time to really get to know you guys. And that's what we did yesterday. We got to know St. Andrews, and we got to see what type of students you are. And I know we were all really impressed by that. And again, we're going to get to know every school, and that way we're going to get to know every student, every application. So however long it takes us to get to know you, not just on paper, but also reading about you and reading about your interview and reading about things that you've done.
Hi, I'm Grayson. What aspect of an application do you value most?
So at Bates College, we usually like to start with the academic transcript. So the classes that you've taken, the grades that you've received, because ultimately we need to make sure that you'll be able to be academically sound in college. And so that's usually where we start. But I would say my favorite part of the application is actually the essay. Hopefully everybody did their reading and whatnot for the applications we're going to go over today. And you'll really see that essays can vary by student quite a bit. So I think for us doing a lot of reading, we're always really excited when we do the essay part. And to kind of reiterate what some of my colleagues have said, really get to know you. And that happens a lot for the essay.
I'd say I also look forward to reading the recommendations from your teachers and your guidance counselors. For me, that gives me a lot of insight into who you are in the classroom and how you participate in the world around you. Your essay gives me a look at who you are from your perspective, but the recommendations give me a look at who you are from other people's perspectives, and I think the combination of those two are really important
Hi, I'm Hugo. What do you think that students and parents should know now that we're starting the college process?
I think in a process where it can be really stressful at times, as both Cassie and Chad alluded to a little bit, I think you need to just relax and start visiting schools and just taking everything in first, gather all of your information. So, as Lou mentioned, visit different types of schools, get to know the school, get to know yourself in this process, and talk to your parents and parents talk to your students about it, and go through it, I think, again, with an open mind, but just breathe. It's all going to be great, and we always like to say, I think everyone that's up here, we're colleges and we're offices of admission. We don't want to reject you. That's not our point, and so we really do want to get to know you and figure out that process.
I would elaborate on something that Mr. Roach said this morning, because one of the biggest regrets I have for all of you guys is this. When I was sitting in the kind of seats you're sitting in years and years ago, looking towards a college search, there may have been points when I had some anxiety about the process, but that's not what I remember as the dominant emotion. The dominant emotion was excitement. I was like a little kid in a candy store. You'd look at college catalogs, and in those days they were hard copy catalogs of what you got in the mail, and looking at course descriptions, and thinking, my God, I can't wait to get into this stuff. This was so exciting sounding to me. It obviously built on things I'd been learning in school, but it was an opportunity to take it to an entirely new level. And I couldn't wait to get started. And what I would urge on all of you, all the students in this room, is to capture that sense of excitement about spending 4 years of your life indulging every intellectual curiosity you ever had. And this school is almost unique in its ability to prepare you to do just that. So if you come into the process feeling intellectually excited, first of all, you will be in the state of mind. I mean, that's the right narrative, to pick up the word you've been hearing this morning, for you. But in the process, as I've noted earlier, you're also going to write a terrific college application. And all of us are going to be salivating over it as we read it, because frankly, that level of enthusiasm and optimism is so rare that it will leap out at us. That would be my advice.